Um, yeah, look, this this work of the soulpreneur and bringing our heart and soul out in the world, it's one of the most profound, beautiful things because I found that a business is a portal for evolution, you know? And as I've learned more into business and more into like making abundance for myself and my family and my clients, and it's evolved me beyond anything. And it's just helped me become more of my real self. Like that's really the end of it all, right? Why do we do it? It's for us to become our true selves and for our clients too, and anyone we serve. And in amongst it all, the ego is still going to have its hands in things and it's still going to try and weaves in and yeah, just to take because not from anything of it trying to be it's not a villain or anything. It's just trying to get control and safety. It's constantly that inner child of us just trying to orientate. And I'm the same as well, Kathy, that I've also had times when my ego is like I was in flow and then the ego started to try and take over some things. And it's just a constant work of us. Yeah. And what tonight's going to do is to highlight where the ego can take over and how we can just come back and repivot and get back into our heart and our soul. Because that's the place of fulfillment. And that's the place where all real abundance is, whatever real abundance is for us. So I'm really excited, and yeah, I'm glad that you're just feeling the energy of it. Because I say also to people in these spaces, it's not just what I'm going to share, like connect to the energetic of what's happening and it's already moving for us, right? So yeah, I'm so great to have you and thank you for sharing that, hun. And I'm really, really excited to see what lands for you and what opens up. So yeah, if anyone else wants to unmute or whatever as well, you can welcome. But I'll just read out what people have written here too. So I'm here to build a business I love and I'm passionate about without burning out. Yes, how amazing is that? Because a lot of the time, the way that business is shown to us is and the way of the entrepreneur is exhausting, depleting, very masculine driven in that there's nothing wrong with the masculine. The masculine's beautiful and we've all got an inner masculine that supports us. However, if we're just relying on that way of business or copying strategies and things that people telling us outside of us, like it depletes us, it exhausts us. And there is another way to do it that is more aligned, more alive, more beautiful, more synchronistic with our nature. If you look at animals, and I've done trips to, I do a lot of retreats. I go on retreats, done trips to Africa. Every animal has its true nature. And the leopard's the leopard, the lion's the lion, the elephant's the elephant. And they know how to work with their nature and with the nature and they unlock abundance and fulfillment. And for them, if the leopard tries to be a lion and act like a lion and walk like a lion and hunt like a lion, it's dead. It can't. And so something about tonight is that, we're going to look at how can you unlock your soul's business? How can you untap into your genius's way, your intuitive way? Because, and I'll tell you, and I'm sure you've had experiences, I've had times where I've all these coaches and they've just told me these things to do, but it's not me. And it may work for them, but most of the time they just copied it from someone who's copied it. It's just this passed down thing. And it's like, and I've tried so many times to do the strategies and things that are meant to work, but it's not aligned. It's not for me. And so it doesn't work. And then the second I do what I'm called to, even though it's meant to not work, it does, you know? So yeah, I'm very excited about tapping into that as well. So that's, yeah, great that you said that, Bronwyn. Connection with soul-led women in the business space. So love that you said that too, Jessica. And the other day, some clients of mine were saying like, they've never been held by women before. There's so much feminine wounding and like, judgment or criticism or just it's not safe in women's spaces at times or, there's criticism or they can't fully be themselves and show it. And they're just like, this is the first group in my alchemy girls. They said, this is the first group I've come to where I can actually just be all of me and fully be seen and loved. And it was just the most, like it brought me to tears. And because we deserve to have spaces that we are fully seen and met, and it's safe for us to be all of us, no matter what it is, and just to bring us and have that unconditional love reflected back. So, I'm glad you're here, Jess. And that's what I want to create with you ladies now, just a safe space for us to just share and be who we are and really get the most out of that. Because there's no point pretending. If we just want call out for support, what about? So I'm going to call you like, and my values, alchemy, the work I teach, and in the value system, it's truth, love, and wisdom. Like truth is my number one value. So I want you to bring your authenticity here, bring your full self here. Feel safe to just be you and tell the truth and, share what you may not feel comfortable to share, because this is that safe space for you to do that with us. And I'm going to be really truthful too. I just sort of can't do it any other way. So I'm here to anchor my purpose and vision to strengthen and get clarity on my purpose. Amazing. So glad that you're here, hun. And, our purpose really unlocks so much abundance for us. So, yeah, it's great. Solve my money problems while staying true to my soul. I'd like to end the struggles finally. Fed up with money struggles. And honestly, as well with that, hun, when we actually unlock our purpose and really shine our genius in the world, like that's when money doesn't become the issue anymore, It's when we're trying to solve the money thing and we're trying to focus, and you'll see it when I share it later. That's when money becomes the problem. But if you step into your true nature, you step into your purpose, you create from that, the problems just take care of themselves, which is amazing. Also here for connection with like-minded women, people in the group, and reconnecting myself, a very busy period of autopilot. Amazing. Glad that you're here too. After an emotionally hectic and financially challenged year last year, I am rebuilding my energy and my business for success and abundance. Yes, amazing. So excited. And there is a, definite energy shift. I don't know if you know much on the energetic front or the astrological front, but there is a real shift on this soul-led business path this year. There's been some massive astrological changes that have happened over some time, and we're really going into more heart-led, soul-led. The stuff that's people lying and BSing and, using manipulative tactics and, like exhausting and depleting the system and just the, pillage and destroy the, like that sort of way of business isn't going to work anymore. I mean, it doesn't work anyway, but it's definitely going to get broken down this year, and beyond. So yeah, great that you're feeling the energy for calling in soul business as well there, hun. Beautiful friend Bron's grateful to be on the journey with, speaks highly of you. Oh, that's nice. She's amazing. I love Bron. Can see the shifts in her, so she sent me the link. Oh, nice. Business to my sole purpose of healing beautiful women from toxic relationship. Amazing, and all the places that we work in business and coaching and motherhood, leadership, whatever we are, the more we can come for our soul, the healing just ripples everywhere, So yeah, I love that. So thanks for coming and listening to Bron. Oh, Bron, you're just telling everyone. You brought heaps of people here. Business, spiritual connection, interested to connect with people, creating a new way of the world. Amazing. So good. Old paradigm. Yes. Exciting. Amazing. She's a sparkle. She is. She is. I love her to bits, that Bronwyn. Bronwyn is one of my clients, and she randomly saw me. I came back from my retreat in Peru, and after a 24-hour flight or something, just in the airport, like, and she's like, Miranda, like she'd see me online. She's like, she saw me in the airport, and then yeah, she came to Fiji, not knowing what the heck I was even going to teach in Fiji. She's like, oh, Miranda's running a retreat in Fiji. Let's go, So yeah, I do love it. But anyway, so fun. All right. Thank you for the landing that and connecting with me. I really love, and throughout the night, jump in, put in the chat, unmute, I want you to be here. I want to make this relevant for you. So, all right, let's get going on what we're looking at tonight. So, as I was sharing before, I came from a very sort of masculine driven paradigm for 33 years of my life, really because at the beginning of my life, I had wounding around my feminine representatives, people weren't safe. My mother, my grandma, in the ways I felt it wasn't safe to be a woman. They were often even weak or dependent on people as well. And then, or else they were really hurtful and mean and nasty. And the feminine wasn't safe. And I didn't feel like that was the way for me to create money and business and jobs and whatever. So I bet at an early age, just sort of learned like the masculine's the way, to try and make things happen and force things in the world and whatever. And so for all my jobs, business, like when I started my business 9 years ago, it was like, okay, like it was just the warrior, the masculine, like force it out in the world. You want to create it, like bring it out, force it out, figure out any way to do it, spend money on any strategy coach, problem solve all the way, and I just had issues with money. I'd had issues with my mental health, issues with my physical health, like issues with relationships, it's just like issues everywhere. But I just tried to use the masculine force action strategy to figure my way out of it. Studied 8 years of psychology to try and mentally figure it all out to break through. But, what happened at the beginning of my business is I started the business when I was, pregnant, but I'd also found out my husband was cheating. And so we break up. So I'm starting out my business when my son isn't even born yet. I was 6 months pregnant. And then my husband of 10 years, relationship of 10 years ended all of a sudden, and I was trying to start my business on that. And that's where masculine energy got me to, like just dismal, like this pride before the fall Kathy was talking about, like that was what was happening. Because I was just like, I'm going to be this big coach. I figured out success, whatever, just through this like force mentality. And God knew us like, no, 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 you have not figured this out. Like, and it was just this co-creation of a mess. And anytime I try to force and come from a strategy, action, manipulation point of view, it just created more mess. And it didn't matter how hard I tried and how much I worked and how much I spent, it just dug me in a deeper hole, it seemed. And I didn't get the lesson. I don't know about you, but I don't really learn lessons quickly sometimes. So, for 3 years, I then try to work hard, take all the strategy, action, money, blah, 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 even though very obviously the universe is like, Miranda, energetics, the feminine stuff, like meditation, like all this, chucking things at me left, right, center, say, this isn't the way, this is the way. I was just oblivious, just still like, no, 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 masculine, I can steamroll my way through. 3 years in, get into $20,000 of debt, paying 5 grand a month to these coaches who are telling me to just sell my soul, to do all these strategies that didn't feel aligned, to manipulate people, to see people as leads and numbers, and just desperately needing money. So just trying to follow what they're doing and telling me. And I just got into a bigger hole than I'd ever gotten in before. I got to a point where I was borrowing some money from my dad. He didn't have any more money to give me. I couldn't pay for my bills, and I was about to be homeless. Like I literally, and I had this big fear of this single mom being on the poverty line, homelessness. After 3 years in my business, all like this was about $400,000 of investing in coaches by this point. I got to this point, and I had so much shame and humiliation and exhaustion and depletion. And it's just like, am I just cursed? Why are these other people seeming to like make it happen? And I just try everything and it's just not working. It's stuck and it's oscillating I'd make 1,000, 2,000, 7,000, like, but I could never get this $10,000 month that everyone was going on about. Then this girl comes into my orbit and she all of a sudden has like 100,000 in sales, like within 2 months of her business. I was like, like I was really annoyed. I'm like, I've worked so hard, how is this girl, So anyway, I got over my annoyance and I thought, look, let's just ask her what the heck has happened because, I've been working my ass off. I ask her and she tells me about this energy book, tells me about Abraham Hicks, whatever. And I was like, what? I'd never looked into anything like that before. And so I was like, okay, well, I might as well try because I've tried everything else. Like, what else, right? And after this month of this work and starting to be introduced to it, I learned a little bit about, like, I just stumbled upon thing. As the universe was just like, oh, finally she's listening. Like, let's put all these things in her path, And I uncover like this meditation that I start to do. And, I just at this point had stopped any action and strategy because I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Like I've tried a long time, and it's not that the action strategy is wrong. It's just that doing it without the alignment, doing without energetics, doing it without any feminine, you can't. You can't rely on half your body, half your energetic system and just try and steamroll masculine out, So I just let that go and I just went, okay, I'm going to fully trust this magic stuff. I'm going to fully trust energy. Like I'm going to fully experiment because I'm like that. I sort of go all in on things. And after I did it, I did this meditation and then bang, I had my first $10,000 month by doing zero action, zero, nothing else, just meditating all month. I've tried 3 years of every action under the sun. You don't understand how my head was just like, what on earth, The last phone call of that last day, bang, $10,000, and people were just being referred to me, whatever. So I start this path of learning energetics, learning the feminine, learning intuition, learning superconscious, like learning all this. And people, as I said, just started dropping into my path. It was just very like bang, 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 the right mentors at the right time. And, I have this on this back end of like actually following my intuition and what I felt called and stopping what these other people were telling me to do that just did not feel right. Even though, again, they said this was not going to work. They warned me, they said, you're going to get strategy, like it's not going to work. I actually started caring more about the people I was talking with and actually serving them and loving them and actually seeing the person I was here with, as a person, not as a money bag that I could just get a cash transaction with, Started serving. And I started doing more energetic work around money, more deeper energetic work around my business and money. And bang, I had my first $20,000 month. And literally, I can tell you the time that month was, and now 4 years beyond, coming to 4.5 now, my life is never the same ever since. Not to say I haven't had challenges or other things, but my issues with abundance, my issues with my business, my issues with relationships, like it just kept growing and growing because I tapped into the world of universe, soul, creation, and coming from that place and taking action from that place, still using the masculine, whatever, but from that aligned place, it completely changed things. It felt more fulfilling. and then interestingly, a few months later, not very much longer after that, I started having $20,000 and whatever, or these 40, like all these things started happening. But it was actually crazy because it was like I became less caring about those things and I became more caring about my soul and the work I was doing. And it seemed like the more I did that, the more money I made. Whereas before it was completely slipped and it was like nothing was happening. Right. And so I go away on this retreat a few months later and I just do energetics. We just do emotional work. We're just clearing things, breath, emotions. And then 2 days later, after this retreat finished, I just had this download after doing some practices I'm going to talk to you about. I just like received this program. It's called Alchemy, which I still run today. It was, 4 years ago. And within one 10-minute session, I had the whole program, how to market it, everything. It was just like, it just came to me. It's like God just told me, it was just bang. And then a month later, I had my first 100K launch, and that's now made me over $1 million, that one program, you know. And it's the most aligned program. It's the most easeful program. I literally went to Egypt to do a retreat and I was called to, intuitively guided to. No one in your strategy process says go to Egypt and then see some temples and then bang. Like, I know one told me this, right? And if I told a strategy person, they'd be like, you're crazy. But I go to Egypt, don't go online, just do 2 weeks in temples and do all this work. Come back, 200K launch when I get back, like within 1 week. Like all these people just join. No strategy coach is going to tell you that. I'm not telling you that's the answer, but I was just following my intuitive guidance and that was what it was led. And the energetic and the magnetism of that just poured out, right? Once my energetics were worked through and, yes, I did some action. I still ran a masterclass. I did some things, but the amount of action I had to do was very minimal versus what I was trying to do before because the energetics were there. The alignment was there. My intuition was there. The guidance was there. It was the universe was like magically orchestrating. How on earth do I go to Peru, come back, and then meet Bronwyn, who I love to bits, one of my most beautiful clients, just meet her at the airport? Like that doesn't happen. That's magic. That's how I've got so many stories of that because the universe is co-creating it with me because I've got my soul and the universe alignment. People often message me drawn in because that's there, and the universe just wants to cater for the service of those souls in soul work, right? So tell me, what do you take away from that story? We're going to unpack it more and I'm going to teach you more of how to do that yourself. But what's your key takeaway? You can unmute, you can put in the chat. What's jumping out to you? Get really hot when I share. I really need to wear like a small top because fire up. Alignment is everything. Yes, it is. And while the others are writing, it is because, you think of, I did this axe throwing thing the other day. Or I've also done like a bow and arrow, um, archery sort of thing. You can shoot all you like, but if you're facing the opposite way, you're not going to get anywhere near the target, right? The alignment and the alignment process, if I was doing this axe throwing or archery, most of the time you're focusing on your alignment and the realignment and things. The actual action is not very much of the process. And this is the same in work, in life, in everything. But a lot of the time in business and the way that coaches tell you, and we're told the opposite. We're told action strategies, like processes, like, the emphasis is off. It's offline, and I'm not saying that that's not important. It is. Sometimes in the spiritual, what happened when I started doing intuitive stuff, I went so into the woo and oracle energy that I stopped taking my, so I had to sort of come back to a balance, right? That's what we can often do. But, the action without that is just exhausting and depleting, and you're not getting the whole of the universe behind you, reassurance that I'm doing it right, following the soul's way. Yes. And sometimes, by the way, it can be slower or quicker with the soul. It's really an individual journey, but it will always be more fulfilling. Sometimes you can look at people and you go, oh, but they're earning this and that, and they're just seeming to go ego. Yeah, but there's always a cost somewhere with that, with the ego. With the soul, it's just sort of highest for all parts of you and others. There's no, the cost isn't there. The deep importance of connecting within first and allowing the guidance to come versus hustling, pushing. Yes, that's right. And look, I still have to keep reminding. As I said, I'm a slow learner. Even though I've got all these stories, whatever. It's like our ego when we're in survival or we just click in anything. It's sort of like it wants to just come and take over and control. So it's a constant repivoting. I get to rest in God's flow again. Yes, so good. It is. And this is the thing. This is the funny thing, right? Like I've been reading this space book with my son about the universe. The universe is huge. So I'm just going to turn this notification. It's huge. And there's so much dark energy, dark matter that we don't even understand. And most of it is that. It's actually the matter, the physical matter is very minimal and minuscule versus the energetics. But we still think that, I'm a little human doing to try and do all this stuff by itself is like worth it when we have a whole power of our superconscious, the universe, guidance, whatever, like on our wanting to support. And it's amazing how we still think we should just do it alone. I have to continue to focus on the value I give and alignment. Everything will work out. Yes, that's it. And if it's not like the axe and the archery thing, there's just something you need to tweak. There's something that's not all there that you just need to shift. It's not anything personal about you. For 33 years of my life, I struggled with money, business, health, like everything. It wasn't personal. It's not that I'm cursed and Miranda's saying wrong, whatever, even though I believed that was the truth. It was just I hadn't worked out the way of the universe yet. I hadn't worked out the energetics of the world. And as soon as I started to do that, the work I teach with alchemy, the work I understand, it applies to everything. And so everything in my life has started to connect and arise because I use the same tools everywhere. Connecting to the feminine using intuition, yes. Aligning with your heart and energetics to be in divine flow, yes. I resonate as I lived in the woo and I went to strategy and structure. And over the past year, it's been about bringing them together. It is a huge process. And a lot of the time, you get people in one camp or the other. I've had so many different mentors and I've sort of had to amalgamate and merge and marry it because people can be in the superconscious stuff or in the soul and emotional embodiment, release emotions world. And then there's the business, money, and strategy world, and I've had to sort of bring it all together because it's not meant to be separate. It's a framework of all. Meditation, keeping it cool, yes. We need to use our masculine and our feminine to be in alignment. Yes, that's right. And it's about the intuitive way. There isn't one way or one like do this and then that. And it's how do we have that alignment together? Okay, beautiful. So great. So we're co-creators, participatory universe, everything's energy. Yes. So before we go into what else I want to get into tonight, the first thing that's really pressing on me that I want to ask you is to tune in for yourself. And what I want you to do is tune into a circle. Like imagine there's a circle in front of you, and this is a great way to, if you ever want intuition on anything, a circle is used in magic a lot of the time to call in, guidance and information on anything that you want. It's just saying to your superconscious, to your genius, I want to define this space and I want to know about this space of information. So just imagine there's a circle, and I want you to imagine and say, like this circle's representing your relationship to the universe, your relationship to the soul, superconscious, soul, source, God, whatever you want to call it. Everyone's got different names, but the circle is your relationship to the universe. I want you to just tune into what is your current relationship to the universe right now. You can write it in here or you can have it personally for you. It's up to you, but I'm just going to give you a minute. Tune in. What's your current relationship to the universe right now, and how is that affecting life and business right now? Tune into the circle, get whatever you get, and then just write it down for you or in the chat. I'm saying this because a lot of life and wherever you're at right now with your business or with anything is a reflection of your relationships you have to different things. And your relationship to the universe or God or superconscious, whatever you want to say it is is one of the key factors of how you're going to show up in life, how you define the universe, how do you define, see, for most of my life, up until those 33 years, I defined the universe or God as a distant mofo that didn't really care, that wasn't there for me, that didn't. I remember as a kid, I'd prayed, and I didn't even grow up in a family that was religious at the beginning or anything like that. But I prayed to God and I'd be like, oh, but if you're busy, understand, it's okay. Like, I know you might be taking care of some other things. This might not be important to you. That's what I believe. Is like God and the universe didn't think I was that important, didn't tend to my desires, my prayers, my needs, because it was distant, didn't care, you know? And my dad was a pilot and like he cared, but he was not always contactable. I was fighting with my family and I couldn't reach out to him. I couldn't call him in the plane, right? And it was the same with then the view of the universe. I just projected that onto the universe. So why was I trying hard in my like life and business and everything, figuring it all out? Because I believed it was on me and I didn't think the universe gave a crap. So I then didn't have magic. Nothing was necessarily supporting, or I didn't see it because that was my view of the universe. But when I look back, I can tell you time and time again, the universe has been there, provided like. And so when I started to see that and I started to shift my relationship to the universe, I started to believe, because everything's a mirror, right? Whatever's happening out here is just from in here. So that month that everything changed, I was like, F no. I believe the universe is backing me. I believe I'm doing this service for the good. I believe, it's all going to happen. I believe in the magic. I believe in miracles. I've seen it. It's happened. I see it. And I just backed it. And I just built that relationship back with the universe. Because the universe wanted to be there, superconscious, whatever, wanted to be there for me. I was blocking it because of that, saying like, no, I don't need your help, or you don't help me. So I'd encourage you to look at it and then look for the evidence of where it has shown up for you, where it has been, look, because as I said, I didn't think it was there until I looked through that lens and I saw it all, you know. Learning to connect and receive from the universe, yes. Realizing not having connection with the universe at the moment, choosing to have a loving, caring one. Yeah, that's right. And choosing that intention is massive, because that's where you can start to have mentors come in or things come in, or, just asking for support, saying, I don't really feel you care, but I want to know you do. Like, and I ask for support, I ask for guidance, I ask, just that gives it permission to support you, your superconscious as well. Half full, half empty, rebuilding it. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing, our relationship to ourselves, relationship to universe, relationship to other people. It's all depending on what's showing up for us right now. I was disconnected in effective business money. It was solo. Now I'm reconnecting. That's right. And many women, I know this was for me, especially because I'd had the masculine background of like trying. That was me giving, giving, giving. It was me breathing out, offering, giving, but it was never me receiving. So the universe couldn't support and let me, because it was just blocking receiving, right? And that's where the abundance wasn't coming in, because I was just pouring out, but I wasn't letting receiving come in. And I didn't believe I was worthy of that. So it couldn't, because that was my mirror. If you don't like what you're seeing, just know you can change the mirror. You can always change what's in here, and it will change in your world very quickly the moment it changes in you, Have to surrender more, being a bit controlling. Yeah, we can. When that's fear. That can be fear when we're afraid of that. Strong, intimate continues opening up. Resistance to my own abilities continues dropping away. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I mean, just looking at what's causing the loss of the faith, hesitant to trust. Yeah, and so even and this is what I'm going to say, and this might sound very simple, but if you actually practice this is the most profound thing you really can do, and that is start having a relational conversation with whatever it is that's not working or not the way you want. Just open up a conflict relation conversation like you would if you had a partner or your child, or something was going wrong and you weren't loving how the relationship was going. Sit down and talk about how you feel and how that, imagine them saying what they would reflect back. Because in the universe, or even my business, my relation, my business would have, and I've had many chats to my business, and it's like, F you, I've given you heaps. You're bloody, like, you're not grateful for all these things I've given you. Like, so listen to what it would say too, Universe for me was like, well, you haven't asked for my help and you haven't seen my help. I've helped you heaps. You don't see it. It's like, how does that feel in a relationship? If someone's trying to pour to you and help you and you just block receiving everything, right? The quality of your experience right now in your life, in your business, with money, whatever, is just a result of the quality of the relationships you have with the universe, with yourself, with other human beings, with your business, with clients, with offers, with marketing, with sales, with money. And if anything's not great, if your relationship, your business isn't great now, you just sit down and have a heart to heart with it. It might seem strange, but I can tell you I've had so many breakthroughs. One time when I was trying to follow all these coaches and all this stuff, this coach said to me, and it was about a year or two into my business, and he was about a year in, he said, Miranda, you don't want this change, you don't want the success, you don't want the transformation. I was so annoyed. I was like, what? I'm wanting this more than anything. Like, I want to create money for my son. I want to create impact. I want to have this, I want to get out of this hole. Like, I was so annoyed. But he's like, you don't want it. There's a part of you that doesn't want it. And so I was like, okay, I dropped my son in childcare and I went off to do this walk by myself. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to myself until I figure out what the heck's going on and like how to break through this or whatever. Right. And I was like, if anyone asks what's your day been, or, and dropping my son at childcare, I'm going to go talk to myself. Like, what, on earth, I'm not working. I'm just going on a walk, talking to myself. Like, they must think it's crazy. But on this walk, I just straight away was like, Miranda, imagining my inner child, whatever, like, what's up? What's wrong? Why are you blocking success? Why are you blocking me? What's going on? And straight away she just said, I felt like this answer came back of like, you only come to me when there's a problem. You only talk to me and care about your inner child, like when there's a problem. So I'm going to create problems. So you talk to me. Why do I want you to be, you fuck off when you're successful. You don't care. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we had this big chat. And I was like, what do you need? She's like, I just need you to talk to me every day. I was like, okay, I can do that. Can we stop creating problems? Like, and then I had a big breakthrough in my business that next week after, right? I can tell you so many stories. I had my Fiji retreat recently. And I did 6 weeks of marketing, 6 weeks of actions, all this stuff, because I'm a slow learner and I still start sometimes do actions. I was trying to do energy stuff, right? But I still do my actions. And then I was like, no one was signing up. And I was like, really annoyed. I'm like, this is $800,000 of my investment in myself. I'm flipping giving them all. They don't even want to come. I was so annoyed, right? And I sat down with a Fiji offer and I imagine it came in. I was like, what on earth is going on? Like, I was like, I'm pissed at you. Like, this isn't working. Like, sat down, had this convo, right? And it said back to me, like, Miranda, you're not invested in this. How do you expect anyone to invest? You're trying to look for how to get a refund and stop this like Fiji retreat, You're looking at if you can make your money, like I deposited the 20 grand. They're like, you're looking at how you can get out of it. How do you expect anyone else to? And I was like, oh shit, okay. All right, I'm in. Like, I want this, right? And I want to do it. And I don't care. Like, I'm doing it no matter what. And it was bringing up my money stuff. And I talked to money and I do, and so then, because it was a money retreat, of course, it's going to bring my stuff. 3 days later, the whole Fiji retreat was full. After 6 weeks of working my ass off, I had one conversation for 5 minutes with the Fiji retreat. Bang, it shifted, right? And I'm going to tell you why. But the first thing I want you to see is look at your relationship to the universe, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to your business. I had to have a business chat to my business recently. I was annoyed, about the years I'd poured into it and like those years when I was more masculine and exhausted, depleted, and how much I gave it and how much I lost time with my son time and stress or like relationships. And I had to sort of work that through because it was blocking my desire to be in my business, 6 months ago. And then I was able to see it wasn't my business's fault. It was mine. It was the way I was doing it. And it's given me so much. My business has evolved me, grown me, and I reconnected with it again. Same as if I have a fight with my partner, whatever. You talk it out, you reconnect and you repair the rupture, right? You need to do this with universe, you, business, clients, or people in sales calls that annoy you, or whatever. People in the marketing world, your offers, like that Fiji thing, my Peru retreat, my every offer I've got, there's a kink in my relationship to it. And until I can iron that out, it will be blocked. It does not matter what I do. It doesn't matter how much money I put on ads, whatever. It will be blocked until I unblock it. with this. And I could tell you processes and whatever, but the fact is you just have a relational conversation with it. You know how to have that, right? So yeah, have a look at, universe, yourself, business, clients, offers, your marketing, sales, money. There was a point when I hated marketing and I was like, I don't want to go online. I don't care, And so I had to look at that and have a look at my relationship and go, well, marketing is really just the peripheral clients I have in my audience, my field that are sort of further away clients, because I care about my clients. I care about coaching, but I didn't necessarily see marketing the same way. And I was like, no, these people also matter. I care about them, and I serve them. And maybe it's for free or just a post or whatever, but that could change the trajectory of their life still. And so once I saw that and I connected, it was different. I wanted to do it again. Sales, same thing. I used to think sales was icky, funny. I didn't love it. But it's a coaching conversation, someone I can connect with deeply, and I might be able to have one session with them, or I might go on for 6 months or a year, or I don't know. But at least one session is going to be powerful, and I want to do that. Tune into your relationship with these things, have a relational conversation, work on that relationship, because that's where the issue is. That's the core underlying thing. And I can tell you so many programs, launches, offers, money, whatever, it is then boomed because I've worked on the problem I've had with it, the relational problem, right? Tell me what you're taking away. You can unmute. Got more I'm going to share about the structure of this, but tell me what's coming up for you. What are you taking away? I'm trying to understand that power of the universe and how I can connect to create with the power of that. And yeah, you talked about the universe. What are you taking away? As I said, you can unmute or you can put it in the chat.
I'm happy to share, Miranda.
Unmute, hun. Go for it.
Yeah, just coming back to that relationship, like you said, and going back and having that conversation. I haven't had a conversation with, I actually call my business Mrs. Business and Mr. Money. So I have a lot of fun with that. But I haven't had a conversation with them for, a good month or so, and I haven't checked in and just seen how they're feeling and how I've been feeling. So that's just been a really great reminder. But I just really loved how you really expanded on all of those different relationships that are just so important. So, and also marketing, I'd not thought about that before. So thank you for mentioning that too.
Yeah, that's amazing that I have a lot of that you have the names, and you can imagine it just imagine a conversation. Or you can, I'll guide you through something later. Imagine even a symbol representing money or business or whatever coming in and talking. And it's just so powerful. Like it is. And it's great that you've been doing it, hun. But even like if I'm in a launch of an offer, I will be regularly, mostly daily, just checking in and chatting and working through because it's not just like you check in and then it's sort of sorted. When you're in a launch as well, or you're in initiation of bringing something out, it will be triggered regularly. Same in a relationship when you're having a real rough patch and it's just those triggers. So it's just important to keep the convo open, because in a relationship with a real person, we don't just like talk to them, and then we think, oh yeah, now it's all good. Like sometimes there can be problems that keep arising, or things that keep having to pop up to talk about, right? And you just show up and do that convo. So yeah, amazing, hun. Love it. The simplicity and of conversation, flesh out the issue is gold. Yeah. And it's something that we really can take for granted. And it's something I learned really as a simple tool very many years ago, in self-compassion and things, but then I broadened it to other parts of my life. But it's probably, if I'm going to tell you the easiest, simplest, like most profound thing that I've ever done that's made the biggest difference, like that is one such key thing. Our relationship with everything matters. Have a convo with the areas. Yes. Need to have a convo with market. Yes. Simple. Yeah. Beautiful. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I guess this matters, and just to help you a little bit understand the structure before we go into another sort of process and tool to support you. So basically, you may have heard that your focus creates your reality, right? But it's actually not just your focus that creates your reality. It's more your orientation creates your reality. Why you're focused on the thing is more important than what you're focused on when you're creating what you're creating. So if you're coming at money, for instance, right? And let's say business, let's say a product, right? I want you to think of like program you're trying to bring out, or clients you're trying to call in, or just think of one thing perhaps right now, just to really help you get to this. So if I'm trying to create a program and I'm doing it because I need money, and I need money because I don't want to get in debt, or I don't want to be the single mum that doesn't have much money, or I want to have enough for my son to have a couple of things or whatever, right? Like if that's why I'm trying to create the program, which many years of my business, that was the why. Underneath it all, like there was a reason. It's like I didn't want to be in debt. I didn't want to be the single mom in the poverty. Like, that was a big motivator for a lot of my programs and business at the beginning, probably for the first few years. And there's other motivators, but that was a big one. And it was really like that was my focus. My focus was I don't want debt, right? And so it's what we call a negative vision. So it's actually not about what I want, it's what I don't want is really what I'm oriented for, right? So I don't want to have debt. I don't want to be homeless single mom. I don't want to have no money. So then I try and get coaches or go and do these programs or like put these things out there to run as far away as I could from not having this thing, right? And then I would have a launch and I even make a couple, 50s, whatever K, and go, oh, phew, great. I'm not near that anymore. Like, and then I'd start to relax on the marketing, and then spend some money and go, oh shit, I'm back here again. Oh no, you know? Um, yes, I can, see how you go. So you have this yo-yo oscillating effect because you're energetic and your actions are actually on what you don't want. That's where they're anchored to, not what you want. And so I don't know if you've seen these things where you've got this elastic band. I've been there with my son and they've got this band around you and you've connected to this rubber bandy thing and they run as far as you run faster and you actually end up springing back even further and faster. So that's what was happening to me. And anything we create, this can happen with health as well. I don't want to have weight or I don't want this or that. And so then we go and do the diet and whatever. And it's like, oh, I don't have this anymore. Like, I'll go eat some chocolate and whatever. And boom, back there again. So much of it, that yo-yo thing, is because we've got a negative vision. And the part of this means you're not looking at what you want. You're actually looking at what you don't want. That's the key thing. And so it's very ego oriented. It's fear oriented. It's just trying to avoid fear and what you fear and what you don't want, right? So that's why some of these things can happen and be created. For instance, in my Bali retreat, I didn't want to ruin my reputation of my business. And I didn't want one person to come to me with Bali. And I was like, oh my goodness, right? And so for the first couple of weeks of my launch of Bali, it was some people were interested and they're not. And, it was sort of like this because I didn't want to not have people there and I didn't want my reputation to be ruined. That was my orientation. And then I exposed it, saw it. I had the business chat. I had the chat to Bali retreat, and I go, oh, okay, this is taking my focus. Shifted it to what do I want? What's my true desire here? What's my actual excited vision here? I was like, I want to travel and transform people. And if I have one person come with me, amazing. If I have my family come, whatever, like I want to travel and do coaching and transformation. That's what I want. The second I started putting the focus on what I actually wanted, my true desire, the thing that really excited me, my mission, people started coming. Saw the fear, acknowledged that could be possible, but I actually want this. I'm going to go all for it. The second I started to change my energy from that conversation I had with it, started to flow, right? So I just told you the yo-yo. The other one is the stuck structure. So the yo-yo, there's some movement, but it's just like a rocking chair, The stuck one is there doesn't matter what you do. It is nothing's moving. You can do all the things, put it all out there, but there's no movement. Nothing's going on. And this is when your ego's agenda or your ego's ideas and wants are taking over your orientations from your ego and its agenda and what it wants, not what your soul wants. So for instance, the first few years of my business, I wanted to put a retreat out, for instance, from the beginning. But I waited 7 years. That was stuck. Like there was no movement on that because I thought I had to learn more and I had to have more modalities and I had to be this priestess retreat person who sat there and, like if anyone comes to my retreats ever, like you'll see with Bron, like they're not just this like, oh, they're crazy, they're fun, they're playful. Like I am like that, right? But I thought I had to do all this guru Miranda, like whatever, to run it. So I didn't run them and things, and it was not moving anywhere because I thought I got to go learn more. I got to go become a priestess and not myself. I got to lose Miranda and become someone else. Um, or I'm trying to put an offer out, but I'm shameful. I'm an imposter, so I can't really put it out. I got to hide, and I've got to like not try and sell this, but I don't want to show anyone me, because they're going to reject me or whatever it is, right? That's because the ego's fears or agendas or is taking over and hijacked what you want. Or I've got to have my website, or I've got to go get this coach and this and this, and you just go on a goose chase. It sends you on a goose chase. You don't go, you're not moving, you're moving, but you're going away, taking a big detour all the way away from what you want, right? So with your programs or offers, like if it's stuck, it's like, and I'm going to show you how to start to look at this, but it's just trying to find out what is the ego's trying to do, what's its attachments, what's its fears, what's it got its hooks on, because that's where it's taking you off and it's going down these other ways, right? That's what creates the stuckness. And the last one, which I've sort of mentioned too, is flow. It's actually just here you are, here's what you want, and boop, bang, you got it, flow. And flow happens, like I've said just before, when you actually have a true desire, you go for what you want. Those things that have shifted in my business, or, when I've had the retreat that was blocked in the Bali and then it started to flow, told you about Fiji and I wasn't really committed in investing. And then I just chose of what do I want it for? Why am I doing this? Like, what's my big why? What's my real desire here? The flow happens the second I can put more energy into my soul and its why than the ego and its why. Your ego and its why will care about fear and it will keep your yo-yo, or it will care about other things and it will get you stuck, right? Your soul wants your deep desires. Doesn't matter how scary they are, it wants to have your deep desires. And it wants you to go for it no matter what, for your evolution and your fulfillment. The second and I'm going to show you this, like the second you can connect to that and disconnect from that is when flow happens. Now, you can do that through the process I showed before of the relational chat. That is what the whole point is like, hang on, what's up? What's the fear? What are you doing? Like what's happening? What's the block? And then like, what do I want? What's the desire? Like having that relationship, and that will reorient you. That's one way. And that's one key way I really do a lot. Like I said, I did that for the Bali one. I did that for Fiji. Done that for programs. I have my alchemy program, and as I've told you, like I've now, it's the ninth running of it, the ninth group. And the last time I was actually looking at not having it anymore because I didn't feel it was true anymore. I've run it for 4 years and I was like, I actually feel like this is done. And I think maybe it's my energy's shifted with it. Or so I did the tune in, I tuned into alchemy and I had the conversation and I realized, no, it's not. I just have to tweak it. I care about my intimacy with my clients, number one. I care about serving them, supporting them, connecting to them, so I had to change alchemy slightly, a few things to make even more intimacy happen, to have even more time and connection. And the second I shifted that, flow, bang, big launch of it. And I wanted to do it, right? So you can do it through the convo, or you can also do it through this. It's called a heart map. And what you do is you just have, and I have a document actually. If anyone wants the little version of the document of this, because it's really powerful, I normally give it to clients, but I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, say here, but even send me a message if you want the heart map document because I can yes, send it to you as well. And so what it is you have your ego side and your soul side. And in your ego side of the table, you've just got the column and the table. In your ego side, it's all your fears, your attachments, your key blocks for whatever you're trying to do. It can be about a relationship, it can be about a program you're trying to launch, about getting more coaching clients. It doesn't matter what topic, you can do this on anything. Anything that's stuck or yo-yoing, anything you want to have more flow in, you can draw this up for any of it. So your fear and blocks are here, and the ego side is here, the key blocks. And then the other side is your soul, and it's your key desire, your key excitement. And why I'm saying key is because until you get to the core block and the core desire, I've found it's like a seesaw. You will not lock in, or it's even a switch, it's a light switch. You will not turn it off to on unless you get to the core fear and the core desire. I was in Bali in my retreat and I was showing the girls this magic trick thing that I do, I learned from my mentor. It's a potato, it's a raw potato, and I've done it with a sweet potato. And there's a plastic or paper straw that you put through the potato, right? Now you do it with envisioning and imagination and magic, like, because I don't know about you, but physical matter of a sweet potato that's massive and a straw going through a raw sweet potato is not, in physics terms, possible, right? But I've done it, and so you do it through imagination and magic. It shows you that everything's more energetic than it is physical, right? So it's a very powerful lesson, and I was needing to teach them in Bali, but I haven't done it live. I haven't done it in front of people. I've done it in online. So I'm in Bali, and I've got the potato. I'm doing it. I kid you not. Normally it takes me one go and bang straight through. It's done. It was like 15 goes in, and it was not working. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I felt like such an idiot. I was just like, I'm trying to teach everything and it's not happening, And it's like every time it went worse, I was like, oh. And then what happens with this is you need to go into your ego and go, what's blocking me? And then see the awareness of that. And then you need to go into your soul and go, like, imagine the end result you want, right? Now I was doing this. But it wasn't happening. And I was like, okay, what is the key block here? I was like, what's the key core one? And I saw the shadow of the alchemist, which is the shadow of the alchemist is that it's BS, it's snake oil. It's You're not teaching them real stuff. This is all bull. And I'm just showing them it's bull. And they've just come to Bali and paid us money to, like, for me to show them it's BS, right? That was the shadow and that was the fear coming up. As soon as I exposed that, and then I went back to what do I want? I want to have a powerful lesson and I want this to come through and I wanted the straw to go through the potato, and I just saw it, and I want them to be amazed and them to get the lesson. And as soon as I did it, bang, it went straight through because I got the core fear and I got my core desire. But before that, I got some other fears, but it weren't the main ones. That was taking all my energy because the ego was hijacking that experience. And until I could find out how was it hijacking, where was the energy leaking, what was the core fear? As soon as I saw that, I could put the energy back in what I wanted, and that's when it happened. And I can tell you story after story of every launch, relationship problem, getting to be fine again. I've just done what's my ego doing? What's the core thing it's doing? And what's my soul want? What's it? And I've just put the power back in my soul. So I'd love you to tell me your key takeaway right now, also down in the chat. We're coming towards the end of tonight. I do want to guide you through one more thing if we have time. But tell me your key takeaway. Tell me your key takeaway of tonight. Grab something while you guys are writing. If you want to unmute, you're welcome to. Okay. Asking myself what I don't want was super powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Looking at what don't I want? What am I afraid of? Like, because that you need to expose the ego. If it's unconscious, it's taking all of the power and energy, you know? It's being fed off it. As soon as it becomes conscious, it doesn't have the power of it anymore, and you can reorient it and put it back where you want it in your soul. Total Love Potato Story and the Powerful Lessons of Presence, Release, and Belief. Amazing. So good. Identify key fear and go for what I love. Yes. Diving into the energetics of the core fear and releasing it to allow, where is that gone? Allow the heart desire to shine through. Yeah. And it's, again, like I said about the relational piece, it seems so simple. And we're used to all these tools, all this stuff, and it's all complex. But I can tell you, the more I get into this work and I perfect it and master it, and the more if I get to the core of this stuff, I have one convo for 5 minutes. I just shift the energy of this, bang, it just breaks through. And that's why I love it, because you don't need to be sitting there meditating for hours or whatever. You can have 5 minutes conversations or do it like 5 minute, 10-minute meditation, and it changes everything. Identifying core fear, soul desire. Help me move in the right direction. Yes. How can I know if something is in my soul desire or ego? It's a good question. They talk very differently. Your soul is very much about fulfillment. It's about expansion. It's about evolution. It's about, um, you know, challenge and opening to opportunity. And, it's open to newness and loves the new and all of those things. And it's also very present, very in the present as well. The ego is survival, it's safety, it's control, it's panic. If you're ever in panic or you're ever in like overdrive, whatever, you're in your ego. If you're not in presence, you're in autopilot, you're in your ego. You know, it cares about the past. It wants the past to just keep being recreated. It's a very fear driven, very attachment driven thing. Doesn't want challenge, doesn't want opportunity, doesn't want expansion, doesn't want growth, doesn't want new. So when you hear the flavor of the voices, you know the difference. Um, and the thing as well is you'll always have I have ego reasons of why I'm running this training. I have ego reasons of why I run my programs, whatever. And I have my soul. It doesn't matter. The fact is, though, I also have to have more power in my soul and just see where my ego is trying to hijack it. We're never going to get a place I mean, we may, I don't know. I'm not in nirvana yet, so I don't know. But, when the ego is going to always be around. We just need to orientate and know how to work with it, you know? Chatting all the blocks out with myself to work out where I'm putting the power and aligning. Yes, to your heart. Beautiful. Clearing out energy leaks, checking in with your soul with the key desires. Yeah. And our desire really trumps a lot of things. Your true desire, when I really tuned into my Bali retreat or any of my retreats, like my true desire is connection and intimacy, travel and transformation in those things. If I have one person, three people, like that, it doesn't bother me. My soul doesn't care about that. And the more I let that go, actually, the more people come. Even in Peru, I was like 5 weeks out or a month out of my retreat to Peru. And I didn't even think about the fact that it's 24 hours away for women to go there and like leave their kids for 2 weeks. And like, there's a big thing, right? That was like second overseas retreat. I'm running to Peru. I didn't think about any of that. I was just called to go there. And I was told like to just stop marketing, stop doing any action with it, just to let it to be. And I didn't feel the numbers I wanted or whatever yet. I think I was 5 in or 6 and would have liked more. And I just let it go and I just kept doing my energetic work around it and doubling down on my energetic work around it. And then within, that week or so, two after, people were signing up like 2, 3 weeks before we went to Peru and they're mums with kids and stuff. Like I thought that was going to not happen, but I just kept doing it. And it's just, I kept putting the energy back in what I wanted, back in the transformation, back in the things, right? I've literally got off my retreat from Africa. I was in Africa. It seems like I just travel and do retreats, doesn't it? But I got off, and this person said to me, oh, just put all your money in ads, like 30% of your profit, blah, blah, put in ad. That's the answer to it all. So I got back, I'm like, okay, all right, I'll go. And I put, all this money into ads. And nothing was happening. No one was buying. And I was like, what? Because I hadn't done deeper the energy stuff enough for me, right? And then I go back to energetic and it flows. But when I just put money in ads for no, it just doesn't. And then I go to Egypt doing nothing for 2 weeks and I get back and my whole thing's full. Like it's like it's the energetic first, then these other things, not just trying to chuck money at things or actions and just hope it gets somewhere. I used to be the machete gun, like trying to, thinking that will hit something. It's way better just focus a line, take 1 minute, and sniper. That's a much better approach, right? For us as women, mums, whatever, we don't have energy to just go all the time. I don't know about you, but I don't have energy to just do that. I don't want to. I want to have my time with my son and, my life, my health, my relationships. So I want to come here and just focus and, that's what I want to do, right? Now, thank you for your learnings and landing. I do know we're at time. We're actually going a bit over time now, and I'm very aware of your time, and I don't want to overdo it. So I did have a process I wanted to share with you, but what I actually felt before, I'm running another one of these in 2 weeks, and the other one's going to be much more just some practices and processes the whole time. This one I wanted to teach some key components. So look out, because I will in 2 weeks, pretty much to the day, be running something else with more. So look out. However, also, if you have liked this, and I was going to mention this at the beginning, but I didn't forget to mention, if you have loved it, I have got a 1 day event coming up, which I actually haven't given to clients outside of my alchemy group before. A Soulpreneur Training, which is a whole 1 day of business with me. And it is all about more so processes. It's not going to have much training of me talking so much. It's more meditations, practices, processes of everything I've learned to do the meditations, the process to download from my soul, my true nature and purpose, and then to connect to my business and actually structure like my business, and also the offers and specifics on the offers and launches and things to come through from my soul and my superconscious, and to be guided on how to do it. Not to be told by some outside strategy, none of that, just be given the direction and the guidance. And that's where I got the 100K offer download, had a 100K launch after the program that's made me the most money, been the most simple, the most easy, the most enjoyable, you know, and all of my offers are like this. I do rituals, I do sacred practices. So if you want any info on that training, it's a 1 day. It's going to be jam-packed with amazing things, and it's going to be very low investment for what usually, what the alchemy girls have to do. Put a yes in the chat, and I will give you some info on that for you to sort of have a look and explore if you've liked this and you'd love to know more, because it's going to be a full jam beautiful day of training and practices. And as I said, it's really the condensed version of all of the 9 years I've worked in business, all of the super conscious work I've done, the soul work I've done. I'm actually super excited to deliver it. So yeah, if you want info, put it in. And easiest way, if you do as well, is just to send me a message on Insta or Facebook as well, because I love talking to you online and just having intimacy. I will put a link here as well, just so that you can have some info just as well. But I'd love to talk to you, because I would like to sort of tune in and see if it's something that's really for you or something else I could suggest. I also just want to mention one last thing, that is, I have my magnetism membership also. I don't know if you've heard about this one before, but it's where we do the goddess work, the feminine energetic work around different archetypes and the goddesses, to help align you to activate all parts of your energy field and to create with that ease and flow. For instance, like I said before, I used to work with just the warrior archetype and the masculine, and it depleted and exhausted me, when that wasn't used healthily and it wasn't in a balanced way. But once I've actually learned how to do it from more of a universal connection service basis and from more of my soul, and use it in more of a healthy way, and also balance it with the lover, balance it with the empress, balance it with the joker, the jest, all these other archetypes and the goddesses that represent all of them as well, my business flows because I know how to call in what energy when I need it. And as I've seen here, it's our energetics that need to be balanced, like a Chiro attunement or whatever, right? You need to have that balance for that flow. When there's a kink in something, if I'm not using the warrior or I'm overusing it, that's why my business isn't working out of alignment. Get back to that relationship with that part of me flows. So if you want any info on the magnetism membership, you're welcome. It's the session a month, an incredible training I absolutely love running, but it's also again a low investment because it's just sort of getting that monthly training with me in a group, as well. But it's very, very powerful and potent. So if you ever want any of that info, you can put in a yes for magnetism or just send me a message as well. But I loved this time with you so, so much. You've all been such beautiful people. I know, you guys might need to run. If you have to run, thank you so much for your time and honoring you for being here. Um, if you want to have any questions or, I'm happy to stay around for another 5, 10, whatever you need. If there's anything bubbling or anything anyone wants to ask, business life, open book for any of it. Um, yeah, put it in the chat or unmute because I'm happy to just stay a little longer and help you guys out. Thank you so much. So, so good to see you. Thank you, hun. It's great to have you here. I'll put this one. No worries, honey. I'll send you the link to Sasha, but yeah, that's the stuff on magnetism too. It's a 1 month free if anyone wants to trial that one. Amazing. Does anyone have a question or anything? Thank you. So good to see you, Jessica, again. Naomi, Michi. Kathy, go for it, hun.
Yeah, Miranda, I just love to hear what your morning practice would be as you start your day.
Beautiful question. So I have a ritual around like a manifestation ritual that's a choices like envisioning, empowering my superconscious. I think you got my alchemy mornings thing, did you? Yeah. So similar to that. It's obviously like developed because I've done it with my mentors and but that's like basically the most primary thing that I do every day, all day, and I will keep revisiting that because yeah, it's very potent and powerful to keep pivoting my energy back to what I want. And it's basically the main tool as well that will, and another key tool that will put my energy and my soul, my superconscious on what I want and take it out of what I don't, and where the ego is trying to go. I also do, I've trained in like Vedic meditation and transcendental meditation before. So I do that also in the morning because I find that helps me. Again, it's all about being more transcendent, more connected to my soul, more connected to the energetic of my being, and that helps increase my awareness in seeing my ego, seeing things clearly, and in my clients too, picking on things within them faster and, being more intuitive. It also helps me de-stress and take out, because stress is really when we're in stress, that's when the ego is going to take on, right? And also increase fulfillment. So they're probably two main ones in the morning. But I have sort of a practice where I'll also like do my exercise, and even in that I do some warrior stuff and like other things too. I have a number of rituals I'll pull in through the day, based off different energetics I know I need. Even around self-compassion or something I call, which again, I think if you looked at the alchemy morning, I talk about this alchemy anchoring and other things I do later, which is really pivoting your energy throughout the day. It's just a sort of energetic hygiene of like seeing again where your soul hasn't got the power and your ego is taking over and just repivoting energy again, Because the thing is, we eat throughout the day, we go to the bathroom throughout the day, like we look after our physical body. We don't just do the morning and then let it go. But with our energy, sometimes like people can do a morning thing and then just think their energy is going to be on fire the whole day. It's like you're going to get tired. You're going to need to eat energetically, right? So the simplest way I could say to do that again is like I said about the relational thing of just doing a little check-in, and even at like toilets or like going in the car or like just having little energetic points where you check in. Does that help, hun?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I found that as well, that when have that morning ritual, but then not topping up or not continuing to clear throughout the day. So just having that consistency. So that's really beautiful reminder to get back into that practice.
Yeah. They say
Yeah.
3 to 4 hours we can reset back to default, and the ego can come back again because the ego is our default, as a human, which is fine. Same as a dolphin under the water. It doesn't need to not be underwater. It lives underwater, right? We live in our ego, but we need to, when you start needing to take a breath, rise above, take the breath, come back, and we can live in the human and because so yeah, that's how I do it. It's how I go get my breath, go, oh shit, okay, my ego's coming up again. Okay, get the breath, come.
I love that. Thank you.
Worries. Rosalind, I struggle to see exactly what I want and how I would like my business to move forward. I do feel the ego's fear as a major play. Yeah, and Rosalind, I find that's why I really like the practices I'm talking about, and look at the Soulpreneur in the 2 weeks. Come and look at the things I talk about because when you're just and I used to know a lot of strategy and try and work out what's my niche and how do I do my offers and all these questions that and I've done all the programs and I do teach some of those things to my clients so that they have some insight. But when you're coming at it, it's a conscious way of trying to work it out, and it's the ego way. And it's not necessarily true or exciting or feeling, and it's a struggle to figure out. It's like trying to get blood out of stone. It's like, I remember for years I was like, I don't know my niche, But as soon as I tune in and do an intuitive thing and do the meditation, like the process I've learned now, and teach clients, bang, and clients have tried to figure this stuff out for whatever. And then the other day, a client of mine was trying to figure out this workshop she was going to run, and I just gave her this meditation. We did some process around it. And she just had it all come to her within 5, 10 minutes. The way I write posts, whatever, it's just intuitively, they just come. So I think for you with that, it's because you're probably trying to look at it from a conscious human strategy place. But once you learn, like, and can do some of the practice or, come more from your heart and more of a ritual and making it more sacred and intuitive, like that's when it comes really quick. I've tried to do a program where it was me trying to force it out or create it, or and like there is you see people forcing their things out in the world and they can make some money, but it's hard and it takes a toll. When I've tried that, it's been hard. It hasn't worked that easily. It's just trying to put something uphill, and it takes a toll on my body. I remember last time I did it, I got super sick, like for 4 months, I had a flu. And that wasn't just random. That was because I was trying to push this thing out. Whereas alchemy, I go to Egypt for 2 weeks and people just come to me. It's like, people just come. It's always just come. I don't try to push it because it's a co-creation. It's the flow down the river and the universe is just directing and guiding me. Very different to me trying to force something uphill, you know, consciously versus intuitively being led. Because the universe wants that thing out and it's choosing you to bring it out. So it's going to flow a lot more. Doesn't mean it doesn't have birthing pains. Every time I launch alchemy again or any of my things, it's still birthing pains, you know. Do you have anything else you want to say about that, hun?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm having problems with the speakers, so I'm on two devices here, so I don't know how this is showing up for you. So I'm like from one to the other. I hope that's not been too distracting. Yeah, I think the ego's got in the way. There's been a lot of fear, far too much fear that's been showing up. And yeah, and all I get when I do meditations is retreats. And that is the only thing that I'm really getting. And so when I think about my one-to-one clients now, it's like, it's not been clear for a long time whether that continues or not. And I think I've tried to make it, instead of going with it, but, resetting my nervous system enough to be at that state. And, I'm feeling that I'm connecting, but then, like you said with the ego as well, I'm out of it again. So
Yeah.
it's making perfect sense. Everything that you've said is not checking in with that, is doing the morning practice, doing the things the way that I feel that is right. And but I've seemed to miss the bit that, yeah, the bridge is not formed
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah. And there could be a few things. One is we can get intuitive guidance and we may not follow it as well sometimes or do all the nudge or whatever because of fear and things. Like me, I probably could have run a retreat much earlier than I did, but know that, oh, no one will buy, and then you're paying money and then came out. So one could be that. One could be there is a part where like your one-to-one, if it's flowing, it's like that's like the job part where it's predictable income and it's just doesn't make sense necessarily to just cut that off, right? Like,
Yeah, that's how it feels.
yeah, and there's a part of you need to acknowledge your nervous system that you need some flow of cash. There's that part. We cannot be in desperation, and I can do a whole nother training on all of that. To create abundance, right? But yeah, it can be all of those things, but also with the retreat, or it's it's about, again, connecting to the relationship, connecting and keep getting that regular, the guidance and the continual. Um, and there's some other pieces that isn't just the meditate, but there is some structural things I could tell you and give you too, which, we are going to look at in the Soulpreneur Day, that will help scaffold it more. The meditations I have and the practices and the rituals, they're not just this general, there is a general part of the meditation where you'll just get what you get, but there's also a structure to it. So you will be able to get specific things that you need also. And that's where intuition is amazing, but also some strategy or structure helps too. That's where I see the balance.
Yeah.
Because even retreats, like there's a whole structure that works with it better than not. Um, so
When I've done the meditations before, even if I've had any coaching before, that is the only thing I've ever seen is retreats.
yeah,
And that's been going on for years.
yeah,
And so I started doing like small ones, but like locally, but not really where I see when I'm doing those kind of meditations, because then all of a sudden it's like all the questions of why I shouldn't, all that. Well, and I think I know the answers.
yeah, yeah. And again, the ego will do that. The second that we get the vision or the excitement and the soul's like, yeah, the ego will jump on it and go, oh no, no, but because it's just trying to hold you safe and not, it's like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, no, like we're not worthy of that. We don't have the power for that, blah, blah, whatever, right? But yeah, we can chat more. I think reach out to me too. We could chat more retreat wise, because I could do a whole thing on retreats, like there's a lot I've
Okay.
but see you, hun. Um, but I think too, yeah, the relational piece around your relationship with, yeah, whoever needs to go, you're totally welcome. Your relationship to the retreat and just that constant receiving and tweaking, that is important also, but also your relationship to your one-to-ones, because I also had a point where I didn't really love the one-to-ones or even sales calls or whatever. I was like outsourcing them to my team. I was like, I don't really want to do any of that, but I've really worked on my relationship to the sales and my one-to-ones and stuff, and like I want it more than ever now. Even these
Mm.
stuff I love if they're small, like because I love the intimacy. So it could also be that you need to look at your relationship to the one-to-ones at the moment as well.
Yeah, I feel that because there's part of me that wanted to let it go, but there's a part of me that's also saying, not just because of monetary issues, but am I sure? Because I like the connection.
Well, it's
So what is it? So then, I didn't really get to the bottom of it, but I think you're right. I just need to explore that a little bit more.
more at that, and also how can it work and tweak? What could you tweak? Because when that arises, it doesn't mean, same with the alchemy program of mine, right? Didn't actually mean I had to destroy it. It just meant I had to tweak it. Because creation, maintenance, destruction in the infinity is a Vedic philosophy, right? And when something's called to destroy, you can either destroy the thing itself and it ends completely, or you destroy your relationship to it. In that point when alchemy was going, do I destroy alchemy? Like, do I end it? Does it complete now? Is it done? Or do I need to change my relationship? And it was like, no, I got to change my relationship to it. As soon as I tweaked it, I got excited and connected again, you know? So there could be
Yeah,
your soul, like, I want to tweak something. Could be the one-to-ones are less often, or they're spread out, or you have some group with the one-to-one where you put them together. Like, I don't know, but it could be something as well, right?
yeah, yeah. And it is. I've been seeing a lot more group coaching,
Yeah.
and it's the technical stuff. And then lo and behold, I get on your call today and can't connect to my speakers, anything, and I'm like, all right, okay. So I need to sort that one out.
But even that can actually be an egoic. I've had times when I've been teaching a very powerful superconscious thing or very high frequency, and then bang, it all's ending. It's like that ego can even get in on that.
Mm.
So well done for staying and continuing, hun. Amazing.
Thank you. I was determined to get on this somehow. So thank you.
Great to have you. Amazing. Well, great to have all of you. I'm gonna head off now. But yeah, if you have any questions, anything, I love you all very much. Really grateful that you're here. Connect. I'd love to have a look at these pieces. You have the questions and things, look at it. But if I could suggest very highly, strongly anything like this day event, this work, incredibly powerful. And I wish I had this in a day when I was looking. I've had to get, over many, many years and money and things, right? I'm really putting it together. So encourage it for sure if it feels as true for you. But anyway, love you, ladies. Much love. Have a great night, day, wherever you are. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye. Ciao, ciao.